much. Let's make these memories to be alive in the history of the Institute of Indigenous Medicine as well as in the research platform in the globe. Success story present to the globe today is absolutely a result of great responsiveness, accountability, adaptability, dedication, and higher levels of communication. Without the support of the sponsors, this event would not be successful. It's my privilege to pay our gratitude and spare some time for acclamation, being gratefulness to all the sponsors who gave us the immense support. This time is to memorize the hand-to-hand caring and sharing our needs to make this event a success. I would like to memorize Subodha Ayurvedic products as the platinum sponsorship, and Himalaya and Wellness Company as the gold sponsorship, Beam Hela Osu Lanka Private Limited, Vaharakar Hela Osu, Link Natural Products, and Nagarjuna Herbal Limited as the bronze sponsorships. Thank you very much for your immense support to make this event success. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make the memories in the research history. Institute of Indigenous Medicine proudly present the new innovations, making new platforms to the new generation. Now we are making the pathway. We can be proud in the history of the Institute of Indigenous Medicine. Now, I would like to invite a guidance and good practice resource for the leadership development of early career researchers and academics based on research. This dissemination examines how inventions can be created to solve problems and to spark new technologies. I would like to invite Regional Director, Regional-cum Facilitation Center, National Medicinal Plants Board, North Region, Joginder, Nagar, India, Dr. Arun Chandan to address this STEAM valedictory session.
Namaste friends, this is Dr. Arun Chandan here. I come from northern part of India and I live in Himachal Pradesh. It's a small state in Himachal Pradesh, close to Jammu Kashmir, and I work on medicinal plant sector, particularly the medicinal plants which are used in indigenous system of medicine, like Ayush systems we popularly call them in India. So, you know, there are 6 Indian systems of medicine, the Ayush systems here in India. You can say the codified Indian systems of medicine or the Ayush systems. If I speak of Ayush, A stand for Ayurveda, Y stand for Yoga and Naturopathy, U for Unani, S for Sidda, H for Homeopathy. And now there is a 6th system which is now called Swarikpa. Swarikpa is a system which is popularly practiced by Tibetan system of medicine, Tibetan people. But in Ladakh and Himachal Pradesh, we call it Amchis, or we call it Bhot Chikitsa Paddhati. Yeah. So the beauty of all these Ayush systems is that 90% of the raw material which is used by these systems to manufacture medicines, that comes from the medicinal plant sources. And those medicinal plant sources, generally more than 70% of the raw material, there has been a tradition to extract them from the wild. So we are harvesting those medicinal herbs from the wild since long. On the event of introduction of Biodiversity Act in India in 2002, and after Niyoga Protocol, and even having rules of biodiversity in place in 2014, the extraction of wild resources has been restricted under the forest laws. And it has been now envisaged that any raw material which comes out of the forest or which is extracted from the forest, the users or the buyers or the commercial entities, they have to return back the ABS, excess benefit sharing, to the communities who are extracting these resources from the wild. And Government of India has given thrust to make People's Biodiversity Registers, PBRs, And through that mechanism, all healers, all agricultural innovations, traditional knowledge of agriculture, forestry, and so on, that has been well documented in the People's Biodiversity Registers, PBRs. On the other side, these PBRs are empowering communities to come forward, to know more about their resources, to know more about their uses, go for filing GIs, and working on some intellectual property right protection on those resources. So this is one story. On the other side, you see, it has been very well mentioned in the classical texts of Ayurveda. There is a quotation, I'm just going to speak in Sanskrit, that is, yes deshasya yojantu tajyam tasya aushadam hitam. So it is said that if we go for documentation of local flora of an area, and if we go to find out the disease profile of that particular area, there is a relationship between the local flora and the occurrence of diseases. And it is said very clearly that 70 to 80% of the diseases which occur in a particular area are treatable or preventable with the use of local resources, which is true in many of the cases. Many times it is more than 70% true statement. I work for National Medicinal Plants Board. It has 7 regional centers across the country. I look after northern region, in which we work with 7 North Indian states like Punjab, Haryana, Chandigarh, Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Delhi. So, see, our primary work is basically to cater to all needs related to medicinal plant sector. So just allow me to make a small presentation through which I'll take you to the story of our work on medicinal plants in this region. And I would like to tell you that we have, you see, approximately 10,000 manufacturing unit, industrial units. Those are working in manufacturing of medicinal plants. We have a lot of homeopathic units. We have a lot of Ayurvedic units, Sidda units. They are making number of medicines. So as I said, the number is 10,000, and the consumption of raw material, I will be just citing in my presentation next. On the other side, it is also true that 80% of the world's population depends on medicinal plants for their healthcare needs. It's a statement by WHO. And you see, the reason is these traditional medicine systems, they are affordable and accessible even to the poor people. They can go to the forest, they can go to their kitchen garden, they can go to their fallow lands and bring certain medicinal plants, identify them, make the medicine, and get relief. That is the reason majority of the population is using this. And you see, the plant-based medicine have their holistic and preventive healthcare value along with their nutritional value. As I said, formally, Ayush systems, there are medicines manufactured, and now you see certain medicinal plants have been brought under food supplement category in India. There are 436 medicinal plants. Those have been now categorized under single food supplements. They do find mention in Ayush systems. They do find mention in food supplements. And similarly, new regulation of nutraceuticals is in place in India also, in which combination of medicinal herbs with minerals and other products can be put forth as a product for marketing and all that. As I told you that 90% of the raw material of all these medicinal plants that come from wild, first they are the medicinal plants, and then secondly, majority of these raw material comes from the wild. And if you see, the traditional medicine is basically what? It's a knowledge of plant genetic resources. They are the traditional cultural expressions. And similarly, the global demand for traditional medicine and associated products has risen significantly. And then this knowledge, protection of plant genetic resources and traditional cultural expressions, crafts, languages, health practices, ritual, customs, songs, handicrafts, textiles, hymens, religious practices, protection practices of natural resources, this all comes into the traditional knowledge. You see, the research and innovation of traditional knowledge is basically making knowledge holders or the providers vulnerable. The healers is basically making them vulnerable, because in the recent past we have seen that lot of leads are there in place to find out the novel molecules, or even some nutritional product development and all that. So reason being that most of the traditional medicine and associated products is increased demand across the globe, even after the COVID situation. There is a threat, there is a vulnerability of misappropriation with the healers or the people who are involved into collection and this thing. And similarly, there is a challenge of sustainability. There is always a fear of overexploitation. There is always a fear of sustainability, because as a result, many of the species, they have either became endangered, rare, threatened, or they have entered into the list of red data book of IUCN. And then you see, in India, this National Intellectual Property Rights IPR Policy 2016 has been put place, in which great impetus has been given on commercial value of traditional medicine knowledge. If I go through the global demand of medicinal plants, you see we were expecting an annual growth at the rate of 7%. This is based on the figures, based on the research. But now, after 2021, this demand has multiplied many folds. And if I take you to the demand side, you see the classification. See, 2,500 are all species which are used in the codified systems of medicine. Ayurveda is using 1,587, Sidda 1128, Unani 503, Swarikpa 253, and then homeopathy 468, and Western medicine they are using 192 species. So after this, if you see the segmentation, where this raw material is used, basically, in addition to ASU, Ayurveda, Sidda, Unani, and homeopathy formulation, proprietary and ethical products are there in the market. And then there are herbal cosmetics, herbal teas, functional foods, nutraceutical, extract, phytochemicals, resin, gums, flavors and fragrances, aromatic oils, aromatherapy, culinary herbs and spices, and then veterinary herbal products. You know, veterinary is also a big area in which most of the raw material is again used from Ayurveda, or even the traditional healing practices are there under veterinary. Now I'll take you through a tour to the value chain, supply chain of medicinal plant sector. Particularly, this is with reference to India, and I'm sure similarly the biodiversity-rich countries will have the situation similar like to us. We will be speaking of medicinal plant sector. Upper side, we will be talking of wild collection. Downside, we will be talking of cultivation. And if we speak of wild collection, I told you there are unsustainable harvesting practices in place. And Ministry of Ayush, National Medicinal Plant Board, has come up with the good field collection practices protocols in place. They are provided in the shape of trainings to the farmers or the people who are extracting these medicinal herbs or the other products from the forest. And then there is a thrust on certifications. There is a voluntary certification scheme by Government of India, under which it is encouraged that if the farmers or the collectors are following GFCPs, then there must be a process of certification so that they get the good price of their produce. You know, once this global demand has increased considerably, there is a demand that now the buyer is interested to buy the product with traceability. And there is a provision of issuing a certificate to this effect. If all the protocols are followed, then this traceability can also be ensured. Second interesting thing which we are involved in, we are supporting the state biodiversity boards. You know, every state of India has a state biodiversity board, and we have a national biodiversity authority. This is as a result of CBD, which has happened to on this. This was a conventional biological diversity recommendation, and then this biodiversity management committee, which is functional, which has been constituted at the panchayat level, at the local self-governance, the lowest statutory organization, that is Gram Panchayat. So there, biodiversity management committees they have been constituted, and they are empowered to deal with the situation of extraction, conservation, biodiversity management, and all that. So this is the part in which the wild collection is dealt in. And if I go on the side of cultivation, see, cultivation of medicinal plants is a big challenge actually. So there are mixed type of experiences. Some people are doing good in cultivation, they are making good money, but some people they are toiling, they are trying, but they are not able to get good crops or the good quality seeds and all that. So there are different kind of things which are moving across the country. But here, our focus area is basically we are working on assured crop price. See, there has to be a assured crop price for the farmers whosoever cultivates any medicinal plants. So we are compiling information. We are going for local field trials with the farmers. We are going for local trials with the institutions, research institutions, so that a minimum price can be worked out for the farmers, so that it can be negotiated with the pharmaceutical industry and so on. Similarly, certification and then good agricultural practices they are in place. And my office, National Medicinal Plants Board, has succeeded to bring out agrotechniques of 106 medicinal plants. They are freely available. They are open source. They are available on our website or on our application. They can be accessed. And similarly, two more challenges are there in this sector. They are quality planting materials and these varieties. You see, farmers, they don't get quality planting material, certified quality planting material. There are challenges. You see, industries, they are looking for good chemotype cultivars varieties, good genotype varieties cultivars. So there is, although a lot of things are, a lot of projects, research is going on in this country, but there are challenges that varietal diversity is brought, is even delivered to the farmers level. So there are challenges in that. So we are trying to facilitate all this process together in term of research projects, as well as in terms of taking farmers or even bringing all these stakeholders together into one roof. And then next issue comes the harvesting time, seasonality, and then quality control. You see, quality control is a big concern in this country these days, because on the event of having increased demand globally, lot of processed drugs are being sold outside India now, and there is a thrust that the authentic raw material should be made available to the industries, or industries, they start consuming authentic raw material. So this authenticity of the ascertaining authenticity of the raw material is a big challenge, basically cumbersome. It needs a lot of cost and all that. So our stress is basically to lessen the gap between the lab and the farmer. So bringing or innovating some new things, new ideas, we are trying to bring out quality, authenticity of the quality raw material to the stakeholders. Similarly, this thing is basically linked to the year-long livelihood assurance, basically. So this is a question again, that if a small or marginal farmer start growing medicinal plants in some part of his land, in addition to his grains and all that, so there must be assurance of the livelihood throughout the year. We have succeeded to get our convergence with the existing government schemes of various other departments like Rural Development, Food Processing Ministry, micro and medium industries department like MSME in India we have. So this convergence is really now they have started delivering results for the farmers. Once this produce is collected from the wild or is harvested from the fields of the farmers, see, again, I'll take back to you to the cultivation part. There are certain challenges again. See, there are technologies, there are machines, equipments for the large farmers. Studies of successful people, failure stories, knowledge, and stakeholders profiling and all that is done under this publication. So if I speak of the approach, in India, you see there is a very good ecosystem these days. If we go with the Government of India scheme, the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, has taken lead on his government, and there are a lot of schemes in various departments. Those can be converged together. And in Ministry of Ayush, Honorable Minister and Honorable Secretary, Vaidya Rajesh Kotecha ji, is working with very positive approach, with very comprehensive and innovative approaches to infuse knowledge of Ayurveda to the communities by strengthening various departments and activities of ministry. So under the able guidance of CEO and Deputy CEO of National Medicinal Plants Board, we are spread across the country. And here I would like to highlight that there is a scope to work with Skill India, Biodiversity Act, ABS, I already told you. You see, we always have been discussing to find out the carrying capacity of nature. You see, there are tools in place through which we can find out which species is having in abundance or may become endangered or extinct in the coming times. So this kind of interventions basically we do propose with various stakeholders. Similarly, Startup India, I told you, is a very good ecosystem here. Herbs and food, herbs as food and food as medicine. And we have Khadi and Village Industry Commission, that KVIC, in place. We have an ecosystem of incubators, accelerators under the Ministry of MSME, under the Department of Science and Technology, under ICAR, Indian Council of Agriculture Research, the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. So there are number of schemes, Ministry of Food Processing, those can be brought together to make reality that medicinal plants really contributes to double or triple the income of the farmers in this country. So with this description, with this presentation, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to all the audience, all the scientific community who are connected under this national conference or under this session. I even welcome you all that there is a scope, there is a hope, and there is a need that all the respected scientists who are working in the various components of supply chain management of medicinal plant sector, they please should come together, join hands together, share their knowledge, exchange their knowledge to strengthen the supply chain of the medicinal plant sector and help the deserving farming community and help them to even earn the respectable income that can contribute to the sustenance of their families and help the Mother Earth to grow sustainably natural, organic, medicinal plants, herbs, vegetables, or any other millets or material which is required to be consumed by the communities at their household level. So with this small note, I would like to once again thank you all and the organizers for giving me this opportunity to be able to come forward for this presentation. And I extend my sincere thanks to all the stakeholders and the listeners. Thank you very much. We'll meet again. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, sir, for your great thoughts to this conference and valedictory session. On this valedictory session of 6th ICMPHP and 8th ICAUST, in order to dissemination the knowledge in the IIM, created the research platform, and this is the 8th pathway of directing the society and young generation to the research era. We're proud to inform that we conducted the inauguration ceremony successfully, and we had 13 scientific sessions from 7 to 9 October 2022. Uplifting the theme of global Ayush wellness, we conducted this event. We were privileged the presence of the chief guest, Vice Chancellor of the University of Colombo. And I would like to memorize the distinguished keynote speakers, dignitaries, and to the 8th ICAUST and to the 6th ICMPHP 2022. Research is the search again for unknown to known. With these more collaborations, more participants, national and international delegates, we conducted this conference. We created the best platform to participate the young researchers, innovators to achieve their success in the research pathway. Ladies and gentlemen, Institute of Indigenous Medicine, by conducting 8th ICAUST, with 6th ICMPHP created the great bridge to join hand in hand in the new knowledge. This is not the end, but only an initiation of another new chapter. Let's hopefully meet at the 9th ICAUST 2023. It's my privilege to pay the gratitude to all the organizers. A pessimist always see the obstacles in a task, but optimist always see the success through the obstacles. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the time to overcome all the obstacles and get together for make our country proud. Now let's move on and let's meet on another successful event. Thank you very much for joining us with this valedictory session. Have a good day.